Hello, everyone. I am Miko, and I welcome you to the Opportyounity Live podcast, where wonderful individuals share their life stories and their happiness habits and routines for you to get inspired. Every week, you will receive a tool with which you can work on your body, energy, mind, emotions, or spirituality. It is then up to you to pick and choose which techniques you would like to incorporate into your own life. Before we get started, I would like to point out that I'm going to change the publishing date to Wednesdays instead of Sundays, starting on the 15th of July. Today's guest is the gorgeous Lea Anderson. We are going to talk about morning rituals and how astrology can help you in your everyday life. As a first part of the interview, Lea will guide us through a part of her morning routine. If you can, sit back, close your eyes, and enjoy the sound of her singing bowl, followed by Lee's gentle voice giving life to a heart-opening kundalini mantra.
Hum hey hum hey hum hey hum hey hum hey rum rum.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So that mantra is used to bring our consciousness to the heart center. It is a kundalini mantra, and it means we are us.
I like the sound of it.
I picked a card. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, and the card that I picked as I was waiting for my internet to reconnect was this.
Says hardship. May I embrace what's happening right now, as baffling or painful as it is? Help me, God, to trust where you are guiding me. I am yours. It's so fitting.
So fitting. Always.
So
Once you open yourself up, the messages that you receive are so infinite and always on time.
absolutely, yes. And you are very much into astrology and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How do you incorporate that into your daily life?
Okay. I am a musician and I'm constantly learning and meeting brand new people. And so when you have a basic understanding, just a general concept of what astrology is, like what's going on in the stars, where the planets are. Right now, I think we have 9 planets in retrograde right now. And so that's affecting us in different ways. Some of us are very sleepy. Some of us are about, okay, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. Some of us can't sleep. Some of us are having vivid dreams, and some of us, the communication and just trying to speak and connect is becoming difficult too. So just knowing what the climate of the planets are beneficial and helpful to me, based on what kind of projects I want to start, or how I'm working with a certain person. Also, I use astrology basically to get a mind of what kind of music I want from the person. So for instance, I have a song called Skin, and I wanted it to be meditative, and I wrote the lyrics out, but when it came to production, I knew that I wanted it to be watery. I knew I wanted it to be sensual. I knew I wanted it to be open and mysterious. And that was part of the reasons why I chose one of my great friends, Brian Fender, to produce it, because he is a Scorpio and he's a musical genius. And I just know that he could bring the elements of mystery and wokeness and sensuality into the song without him having to try so hard. So just learning and knowing people's sign does help me work with them, and it just helps. And also how to communicate with them too. Like some signs are more sensitive than others, some are kind of mean, and you have to take some things with a grain of salt. Some of them are very analytical, like Virgos. They will analyze everything you say, so you really have to be straight and to the point, because that's the only way they'll really get the message. They don't like sugarcoating. If it's a sugarcoat, they're going to take it as a sugarcoat. So it's just working with different people. Astrology does come into play and benefits my career and day-to-day life.
Wow, I love that. It helps you with creating music with certain people.
Yeah.
I mean, you've described it so well that you wanted certain elements and then you decided, okay, this is the person for that because of
Yes.
their sign.
Yes.
You had also told me another story about, well, two stories. One was with Virgos, bringing them all into one room, and another one was with Aquarius, which I really loved.
I used to do experiments. Just to see how people act, like with compatibilities, and especially if I meet signs that don't usually go well together based on the books. If I just see them, like I just met a Leo and a Virgo relationship, and they just had the perfect balance, and they had a beautiful family. And so I did ask them questions about that too, because you just rarely see a Leo with a Virgo. um, but yeah, Virgos are known to be they're well dressed, and they are usually very organized. They're trendsetters. They're forward thinkers. Like if you think about it, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Patsy Cline, Pink, they're all impeccable, and you don't ever think of them as being a chaotic people. You always see them, and they always have their life together pretty much, and they just perform very well. They're very entertaining, so you never really think of them as chaotic. But I read somewhere that if you do bring if you fill a room with a bunch of Virgos, then it'll be straight chaos. And so that's what I did one time. I called my Virgos that I knew at the time, and I was like, hey, can you meet me here? And it was just organized mess, for real. It was so chaotic. It was like they were acting so random, and it was just the first time I saw them like act like that. But they were all well dressed. Even after it was a last minute thing, they were still all well dressed and well groomed, but it was just a chaotic experiment, and it was funny to me. It was amusing for me to sit back and watch as an Aquarius.
So yeah, for everyone that thought about astrology not being fun, this
Yes.
is a great example. I love how you're having fun with it.
Yes, it's my hobby, I say. It's my hobby. Fun.
And you had also described another situation. I mean, it also helps you in day-to-day situations where you, when you know someone is a certain sign, how to communicate with them, especially in particular.
Oh, especially, yeah. Like I know, even with compatibility as an Aquarius, I know that it would be easier for me to talk to like a Gemini or a Sagittarius. Gemini is always up in the air. They have a bad rep, but for me, for some reason, I still have empathy, and I could communicate better with them because of my sign, but other people may have not had a good experience with them. And I guess the best example of a Gemini that I could bring up right now is Kanye West. Like some people can understand him, but other people are like, oh, what is he doing? Where is he going? But yeah, you just know how to talk to people. Some people are more sensitive. Some people joke around a little bit more, especially I had an instance with Pisces where like they're usually very open and very sensitive. And so, but they take their personal space very very personal. It's their sacred space. They really think their room and their bedroom should be organized because that's how they organize their emotions, because they're very empathetic. They have a lot of emotions. And so if you like spill something around their bed, it'll throw them completely off. You're like, well, why are you so sad? Oh, because you have a dirty bed, and then you it's like I'm messing up your throne pretty much. So you really have to, astrology is a good guideline on how you deal with certain people, but you have to just take it as a grain of salt and just open yourself up and just think. Like look at the reactions to them and see how they react and be like, okay, well, it just allows you to be more empathetic, I think. Anyway, at least for me.
It sounds like it. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you have, so for example, the situation right now with the 9 planets retrograding, I will explain it just very shortly. It's basically when a planet is retrograding, there is a lot of stuff that comes up. It can be karmic, it can be technological, it can be in love, or it's all situations that are bringing up challenges in your life that you kind of that are needed to deal with right now. So this is probably also related to the coronavirus and the things that are happening in America with Black Lives Matter, the things that are happening in China right now with the protests and all of that happening at the moment. Are there any rituals that you personally do when you know such things are happening?
Well, especially if Mercury is in retrograde, I try not to take on so much projects where I often have to communicate with other people. I try to work more of myself and see what's going on in here and how I could fix it and become a better person. I know when Saturn is in retrograde, which it is now, all 9 planets are in retrograde. Just, yeah, crazy. That's when you really have to look in yourself and reflect. Okay, well, how could I fix this? Because it'll come up. Saturn will literally throw up whatever you need to fix. So just being in tune with that too. But then your relationships, it's just a really chaotic time right now. So you just really have to be alert and make sure that you're staying aligned, like doing your yoga, doing your rituals, because it's so easy to be swayed in the wrong direction. And you really want to work with the planet so you could benefit from it.
Mm. And do you have we mentioned this at the beginning, that you have a little ritual that you do every morning. Can you walk us through that?
Oh, yay. Okay. Well, yes, I listen to, I start with my singing bowl, like you heard. Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't. It starts in the bedroom. And especially when I wake up happy, I did it this morning. So the first thing I'll do, I'll wake up and I'll say it out loud. I think I show gratitude. I say thank you. And I said out loud, because my boyfriend was there, and I hugged him and I said, we're grateful for this morning. We're grateful for the ability to breathe and move and influence and share our knowledge and become better people and better lovers and better family members. And we have the right to be here. We have the right to love and be loved. And so that's what spoke through me today. And that was my morning prayer. After which I wrote in my gratitude journal, because so many blessings have happened between now and I'll say last week. There's so many blessings that have come into fruition. So I wrote in my gratitude journal. I try to write at least 6 things, just number it. But this morning I wrote 10 things. and when I got to the 10th thing, I was like, okay, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to stop. So after that, I drank my water. I drank at least 3 cups of water. And I do a shot of apple cider vinegar in one of them. I take my vitamins too, vegans.
Okay.
They did not pay me for this, but I love them. They're so good. And they're so cute too. They're like, oh, but I do practice a plant-based diet. And so they have everything in vegans are things that vegans usually lack. So the B12, the vitamin D, anything it's in these. So I love them. And it makes me crave chicken wings less since I got them. So I take my vitamins, and then I go to my singing bowl, and I'll sage. Sometimes I'll sage my puppy, and I light a candle, my candle, which this candle holder is important to me too. It's for my altar, because I stole it. I stole it from my mom. So I have a little piece of my mom with me everywhere I go. She's in Charleston, South Carolina. So I have a piece of her everywhere I go. And I say, I'm the artist, I am a healer. The artist and the healer are one. And then I pull my cards, and I already pulled one. But this deck is interesting because it's actually something that I feel like every healer, every creative, especially if you write, could do. I've pretty much made my own mantra deck. So I shuffle it. I do start here, and I'll just pick one. I'm not really thinking about it, but this is so nice. I wrote them all out, but this one actually says, I have what I need and more will come to me, which is kind of what I do need right now.
Great.
I have what I need and more will come to me. Oh man, this is beautiful. And when you're reading or when you are meditating, messages will come. So just write them down, put them on here. I chant them 3 times. And my boyfriend bought me a nice necklace. So if I want to, I could write these down and put them in my necklace. So this is something you can start, and you should start. I feel like everyone should too. And then I have this beautiful deck. I pulled this card today. This is such a beautiful deck. I love Oracle. And then I have a Goddess Power deck too. I haven't pulled anything, but I've been pulling mostly joyful goddesses lately. Let's just see what it comes up now, because I usually be very, very joyful, happy goddesses that I've been pulling lately. But I just love this deck. It's so beautiful. I always cut it. This deck is way too, you gotta cut it. Oh, and she's so beautiful. Transformation. How about that?
Very nice.
I feel that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that's my morning ritual. And I will take the time and read about this later. But yeah, that's it. And I just implement what I learned from the cards into my day-to-day life. And I do have, I skipped one. My prayer directions. My prayer directions. But I just moved my desk, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, if I don't pray in the bed, I'll pray here. And I'll pray in certain directions, and just doing research of where you live and what's north, what's south, what's east, what's west. It does help you pretty much channel in why and where and for what you want to pray for come into manifestation, just how they can hear you. I am from the South, so if I'm like praying for my family, I do turn in the direction of the South. I live in Manhattan, and there's a huge channel where slave ships would come from Africa, and they would pretty much come through the channel between Brooklyn and Manhattan and into the lower Manhattan, where they would dock. And so I do pray in that direction too. It happens to be east, and east is a wonderful direction. After looking them up, I find that while I'm praying for 2 of my ancestors, the ones that have come through from Africa, I'm also praying in the direction of east, which is the direction of new beginnings. The sun rises in the east, and it's just a great place to start. Like, that's the first direction where the sun kisses the earth. So that's meaningful to me. So the south is the direction of taking action, which is, I think that's huge because I'm Southern, and I'm from the same city as Charlemagne the God, And what he always says, he says people don't leave South Carolina to just be nothing. Because we love South Carolina, we love it. We move out of South Carolina to take action, to be a better person, to bring more things to our community back home. So that means a lot to me, just knowing the directions. And just north of me is our first polo grounds. It was where the first polo grounds was in New York that eventually developed into the Giants, that eventually developed into the New York Yankees. So there is a bluff. What's the name of the bluff? I can't remember, but it's a historical bluff right north of me. So just knowing your directions, you just know what energy is in the ground and what to pray for and what to connect with. And it's a beautiful thing. I think so. And the West is it's for endings, closure, better sleep, connecting to the moon, because that's the last part that the sun sees before it goes down. Yeah. So directions are dope and underrated. So if you don't have a compass, I did have a compass when I first moved to New York, but I do everything through my phone now. But I actually taped out the directions so I know exactly where my heart is spaced when I do pray.
And can you repeat again what the north is for? Because you
Oh,
mentioned the stadium and everything, but
oh yeah, it's where your dreams guide you. It's where your dreams
Ah,
guide you. So it's interesting to me where your dreams guide you, because it's been like, it started off as a bluff, and then it just developed into something so small and so beautiful, into something so huge and global, where everyone could come and just celebrate and just get together. It became a custom of family values, if that makes any sense.
so for me, this sounds like the perfect thing for our listeners to incorporate into their daily rituals if they like. So to find something in these directions, uh, I think helps them visualize something and to put that
Yes.
meaning to it that you've just described for all four directions. Thank you very much for this. This is going to be very helpful for a lot of people, I think.
I think so too. Yes.
I
It's what I love. I love healing and helping people grow.
Yeah, and that's also what you said about your music in an interview, that you are doing music to help people heal. And can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that? How do you do that? Is it the lyrics? Is it the sound? Is it a mix of things? Do you have a certain key that you choose to make your music in, or?
Yes, a lot of my music is automatically in the key of B flat, which is the third eye awakening, which I didn't know I was doing it until I learned more about sound healing. But yeah, it's just um, I hear a lot of my melodies, and a lot of my lyrics do come through me. I feel from the divine. A lot of them come through dreams, which just happened 2 nights ago. I had a song in my dream, so I wrote that down. I'll be working on that. So so I know it comes from somewhere, and just overall, over the years of recording and performing live, you just get certain feedback, and when people are saying the same thing over and over and over again, it's like, oh my God, I listened to your song. Oh my God, this is exactly how I feel. Oh my God, this helped me get through X, Y, and Z. This song reminds me of my daughter. When you hear that, it just becomes, you just bring more purpose into what kind of music you're creating, because you know that you have some kind of influence and input in a positive input and influence into people's lives that you don't know, but they feel like they know you because of music. So it just felt like I have a higher responsibility than what I first initially thought. With my musical theater background, it just makes me more um, more conscious of what I perform and how I perform and how I write, and that I do have a duty to, because I have the natural ability to heal through music. It's my duty and my responsibility to people that listen, because it starts with me. I have to make sure that I'm whole. I have to make sure I'm centered, and because when I'm on the stage, all the lights are on me. I make the first note usually, and that first note is just like a raindrop into a pond. And that first ripple, if I'm good, I give off that one positive ripple, and the next positive ripple, and then the next, and it just hits people and it affects them. I want to make sure I'm giving the positive, happy, healing ripples to them. Does that make sense? Like sound waves?
I have tears in my eyes. Yeah, this is really, you found your calling. And I would suggest to everyone to go on YouTube and to check out her YouTube channel, listen to her songs, and let them heal you. Her YouTube channel is I am Lea Anderson. Get her up there so that she can produce lots of songs with the people that she wants to work with, and she can heal and help lots of more people. And follow her on Instagram.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I follow back.
Thank you.
Thank you.